want to just start by saying, as a chemical engineer by training who spent a while as an engineer and then running some energy companies, I love chemical engineering. It's a lot of fun. I'm sure you have a lot of fun with it. I always thought it was cool that you can look at the temperature in a heat exchanger on one side and predict with amazing accuracy how the yield's going to change on the other side of your refinery, or slight change in inputs changes the temperature. And I think it's no surprise that, it's organizations like yours who employ a lot of smart people like that. We're actually pretty good at understanding how changes in chemistry affect temperature. And in fact, James Black, back in 1978, as you of course know, did this presentation to Exxon where he said that he predicted that we'd have a doubling in CO2 based on current growth rates around 2025, and that would lead to a 1 to 3 degree increase in temperature, which is basically exactly where we are. So, Mr. Woods, kudos. You hire exceptionally talented people. You retrain them. That's one of the talents of a CEO. I commend you. We know that in the light of that information, you denied, you funded the Global Climate Coalition, you funded Willie Soon's research that was in contrarian climate science. And I don't want to go into that. You've had those conversations already. But I do want to talk about something that's in the news this week, which is that we've got all this information coming up that Facebook is phenomenally good at sowing disinformation. Not only can they not stop it, but they're actually really good at inflaming it. They can convince people that vaccines are bad. They can convince people to take horse medicine, for goodness. They can even convince people that it's patriotic to attack the United States Capitol. Good people. So in light of that, in light of this amazing information, amazing tool to spread disinformation, in light of the fact that you guys have actively worked to spread that disinformation, it is intriguing to me that in 2021, according to Influence Map, Exxon has spent $4 million on Facebook ads. 75% of that money has been since June. And in fact, your digital advertising spend was running $50,000 a week in March and got up to $600,000 a week in October. Mr. Woods, do you dispute those numbers about your advertising spend?
I don't have those numbers available to me. So
sound about right though?
I don't have a good view of those numbers today.
Could you speculate on what might have been going on in the last month that would cause you to rapidly increase your spending on a platform that's designed to amplify disinformation?
Well, Congressman, I would first make the point that I think differences of opinion are not disinformation.
Respectfully, sir, the laws of thermodynamics are not negotiable. We're not going there. I just want to know, do you know why you are amping up your spending on Facebook in the last few weeks by a factor of 12?
I don't know what our spending in Facebook is, so it's hard for me to comment on what's changed.
Okay, well, there is this Build Back Better Act going on that seems to be getting a lot of attention. It certainly seems dispositive. Mr. Summers, that same analysis analyzed 25,000, a little over 25,000 ads from the fossil fuel industry. They found that 20% of those were from American Petroleum Institute that were promoting natural gas as a climate solution. Now, again, I go back to my friends in the chemical engineering sector. Methane is about 84 times as potent a greenhouse gas chemical as carbon dioxide. When it's initially released, it lasts a little over a decade in the atmosphere and then breaks down. Over 100 years, it's about 30 times as impactful. Over 20 years, which is kind of the time we have to get to zero, 84, which means that somewhere between 1 to 3% leakage rate in the system, and methane is actually worse than coal. And you all are out there promoting this as a part of the climate solution. Let's call it 2%, just to be even. Mr. Summers, do you dispute that methane is a 80 times more potent greenhouse gas than CO2?
Congressman, thank you for your question. Natural gas has led
Sir, just asking for a yes or no. Do you dispute that it's 84 times as potent?
Congressman, this industry has done everything that we can do to limit methane emissions over time. I'll get to the leaks. Do you dispute the science is my only question. Congressman, we trust the climate science. Okay, good. Do you believe that the natural gas system today has less than 2% leaks from wellhead to burner tip? Congressman, we don't dispute the science in this space. As about the leakage rates, I get that we don't want to have leaks, but is it your position that there's less than 2% leaks from wellhead to burner tip? Congressman, we have programs at the American Petroleum Institute to work to limit methane emissions. Okay, but you're ducking the question, sir. If you don't have that, you've got to ask why you're calling something a climate solution that as we sit today is warming up the planet. I will leave you both with an observation.
Former board member of mine, who's an idol of mine, used to tell us when we got in board disputes that the only thing that matters in this life is whether our grandchildren are proud of us. The West is on fire. Floods are coming. Ice is melting because of analysis you had in 1978. My question for all of you, which you can submit for the record, is, are your grandchildren proud of you? I yield back.